Bombers, welcome to Press A to Play. This is where we do a whole week of recapping the latest gaming news that has been happening. I'm Maud Garrett, Chief Bomb. We'll be taking you through the news, reviews, and all things cool. I wanted to say clues just because it rhymed. But then I realised it's just lame. Joining me on the panel today, I've got the wonderful Taz, aka Taz Pants.
Hello.
Is it Taz Pants because you tazzed in your pants?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe you tazzed in my pants. I don't know.
Maybe I did.
Right.
And I've also got Brad Weston on, who was you think you're known as Westy, right?
Well, that's been my
no one
gamer
wants
name
to
ever
call
since I
him.
was like...
Westy
Yeah,
makes me sound
It's
like...
kind of a family nickname, alright? It's like passed down. Okay?
All right, so if you're watching this one, you'll see a comment box below. Please make sure you're a part of the conversations throughout. The first thing we're going to kick off with is, what's Brad's new nickname? Go! Choose one by the end of this show. So the first thing that we do also is talk about what everyone is playing. I know that it's been a bit of a busy week for a couple of us, so we'll kick off with you, Brad. What have you been playing this week?
I've played a bit of Metro, which is pretty fun. It's pretty spooky. I like to think I'm okay with scary games, but I'm really not. I'm not okay, and there's some really freaky parts. If anyone's played the game, there's a part in the library. Everyone knows what that part is. Freaky. Just cannot handle. So that's what I've been playing.
If someone actually did say that they were legitimately fine with horror games, I don't believe it. I think that that's a myth. The person that's actually okay and doesn't get scared, whatever. Or maybe
Or they have no soul.
Or maybe what?
This is an android.
They have no soul. Yeah, they're just a robot.
Or
An empty shell of a person.
when they were distributing fear and the fear factor on everyone, because some got none, other people would have extreme amounts, and that's me. So I'm taking someone's fear on for them, which sucks. I feel like I'm lost. All right, Taz,
Yeah.
what are you playing?
You should play Five Nights at Freddy's.
No.
I've heard bad things about all of those games. I played a little bit of The Last of Us, which I only recently had time to sort of check out on PS4, and it looks really good. I'm considering trying to go for the Platinum Trophy, but that would take me a few hundred hours, so we'll see. So I got about the last game that I platinumed.
Yeah.
It was probably Infamous Second Son.
Did you platinum that bad boy?
Of course I did. Within the first 3 days, man. You underestimate me sometimes. But that's all I've been playing, unfortunately.
Killed it.
And other than a bit of 2048 on my phone, which is my standard week.
Right. For
What
me,
about you?
I've stepped away from the television. My thing is, like, every time I have like a spare hour, I am watching another episode of Law and Order SVU. I'm going into a deep dark hole, and I'm really okay about it. I've just also discovered that Netflix is getting rid of a lot of their shows. Like, end of October, gone forever. You will not be able to watch it. And
Really?
one of them
What?
is SVU. Dawson's
No!
Creek. Dawson's Creek.
Why would you take that away?
I don't want to wait for a lot. Okay, but this is all about video games. It is Press A to Play. So I actually jumped on to iOS. There's a game called Star Wars Commander, which is free to download, and I'll be doing a bit of a mini review on that one later. That's I've been taking up most of my time. If I have been playing games, I mean, my last little stint that I've had is that I finished Bioshock Infinite and I jumped back onto Dragon's Dogma. And I've just been in a rage-quitting mess, actually. I would love to do a top 5 moments where someone rage quit. Where someone rage quit? I nearly said where someone rage quat.
What is the plural
Quitted.
of rage quit?
Right.
I think rage quat should be the name of a new segment. I don't know what it means.
Well, just like, when it's,
I want to find out.
Instead of I shit my pants, you say I shat myself. So it's like rage quit, rage quat. Anyway, moving on quickly from that one, we are going to take it to the news. Brad, you are stepping up to the news desk for this one. Let's talk about what's been happening this week.
All right. Well, the first big story this week in the gaming world is Stomping Land pulled from Steam, which is pretty important because it's finally Steam kind of putting its foot down on
Shit
false
games.
promises and bad games. Yeah. And it kind of follows up from the story in the previous Press A to Play video that you can check out, where me and Nate talk about Australia consumer law is kind of stepping up and saying, no, you just have to have a refund option. There's no, you have to be able to refund these stuff. So
I agree.
it's good to look, like Steam's looking into that stuff. So this particular game is important to me because it's one of the few games that I actually kickstarted.
How much
so
did you drop in?
I kind of feel really, really bad about it. $15.
You know what though? That is $15 of your hard-earned money. You know. For those who don't know the story about Stomping Land, it is by the lead developer Alex Fundora. Now he launched a $20,000 Kickstarter campaign. He ended up raising more than $114,000. The game is supposed to be like a hunter-scavenger kind of thing on an island that was populated by dinosaurs. Within it, you could form tribes, you could build camps. It's kind of like, you know, Jurassic Park meets Minecraft in a way, I guess. You could tame the dinosaurs as well, which is pretty cool. So you would have got to look at this trailer and been like, hell yeah, $15, I want in. But long story short, these guys have just not delivered on their promises remotely.
Not at all. Like, they, not only did they not deliver on the promise, they didn't communicate with the community at all. They delivered a message a little over a month ago saying that we're moving the game to Unreal Engine 4, which is good news, but it didn't happen, which is terrible news, which really, really, really sucks because the game looked good, and in the original Kickstarter trailer, he lists that he'd previously worked on Skyrim and stuff like that. So the guy's like an industry veteran. Like he knows what he's doing, the lead guy, but yeah, he conned us.
Do you think
no,
this
he
is
hasn't
the case?
conned us, but it's.
I was going to say, do you think this is the case of, like, you know, he's a game developer, he's worked for huge companies before, where he sits at a desk, they give him deadlines, and they take care of the business side of things. But when you're running a Kickstarter campaign, you have to do it all yourself, all of it. The marketing, the sales side of things, you know, distribution, all of this is up to you. And then you also have to have a reward system. So, you know, depending on how much someone puts in, you then have to provide back to them. Now, this lack of communication is obviously him being like, maybe I'm way too in over my head. But the fact that there isn't a refund option is quite alarming, especially because this isn't the first time that it's happened remotely. One that sprang to my mind was Yogcast. Now, Yogcast is a big podcast that has been very, very successful, and they do video casts as well. So they've got hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers on YouTube. They decided to make their very own MMO, and they made $150,000. Actually, no, sorry, $567,665 in 2012 for their Kickstarter campaign. That is more than $500,000. $500,000. Now, obviously, they were saying, like, the same sort of thing. People were like, what's going on with the game? When's it happening? Things just started falling apart. They got an artist in, and the artist walked away with $35,000 after 2 weeks of work because his contract wasn't specific with any obligations. So basically, the artist got paid upfront and then got another work offer. So we gave the 2 weeks of work to the Yogcast and then disappeared, and he actually wasn't breaching any rules. Then they started saying it's like, yeah, oh, but the Kickstarter needed a chunk of the money as well, and then we lost that, and then all our money was running out, and we actually don't really have the game that we should by now. And everyone's like, but you have our money, and this should have happened. So basically, Reddit. Gamers on Reddit went ballistic. Everyone was just like boycotting. Same sort of thing though. They want their money back, but it's like, no, we promised a game. It'll happen. We just don't know when.
The problem with crowdfunding is that they don't have systems in place to really get those sorts of refunds. It doesn't have to go through, like a consumer board because you're not paying for a product, you're paying for an idea. And I think that is
donating.
A big shortfall of it.
I
mean, the way that it actually works, it's actually like even if they don't deliver on the promises, it's very hard for Kickstarter to get the money back from people. So it's definitely a huge shortfall of crowdfunding, and it's probably going to pop up more and more as more and more people start to try and make their games and their movies and their everything this way.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just like, I could get a loan for $150,000. And I would be immediately in debt and then use that risk to try and pay it off. Or people could throw money at me and I can take my time with it. I can, of course people are going to choose that option instead of going into debt straight away. It doesn't also limit itself to video games. Brad, you were saying that a convention just happened to disappear.
Yeah, this is the shadiest thing I have ever heard of. So basically, first off, this convention is unofficial. It from the beginning it titled itself as the unofficial Minecraft con, and it's called Minocon or Minorama. That's it, Minorama. And it marketed as the unofficial gathering for Minecraft fans in New York. And basically, they have run with the money. It was over $500,000,
Hmm.
which is a lot of money. Plus, it was $150 a ticket. Plus, people would have booked like flights and reservations and hotels
Airfares,
and stuff as well.
accommodation, yeah.
So that's an insane amount of money that people have just wasted. Uh, and these guys deleted their Twitter and Facebook accounts, and they even tweeted, "Please note, we are not a scam."
But
It
they
is.
shut down the
It is.
website as well. This is the thing. So
Yeah.
Motorama was supposed to take place over a weekend from the 11th to the 13th of July. They sold tickets for $150 a pop, but they sold something like 3,600 tickets. So that's $540,000 that's been completely unaccounted for. So you're right. They had the Facebook page, they had the Twitter, they had the
Here's the
website.
tweet in question.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
My favorite is, on the 7th, so 4 days before they were supposed to organise the event, 4 days before, they said, "We're not a scam. It's with deep regret that I have to inform you that Minorama has been postponed. Stay tuned for details." And then the Twitter was closed down, the website was shut down. They're gone. And the thing is, like, Minecraft
someone's
fans...
taken the Twitter handle now, and they're tweeting just like annoying things. Like they left that Twitter account open, so some random person has come and taken it and started being like, "We're a scam, we're a scam." Great.
Well, they
Wow.
are. But I mean, in Minecraft,
Yeah.
New York, the average age of a Minecraft player is pretty much like under 18. So the people going to this convention, the parents would have had to have forked out $150. They would have tried to get them there. This is ridiculous. You know what? Andrew Chapman has just weighed in right there, and he said Kickstarter needs to change its policies to protect donors. I'm guessing you're saying
But
donors
the
donated.
problem is it's relatively impossible. It's such a weird situation. They have the policies in place, but they can't make people accountable because they're not any kind of authority. So it's relatively impossible for them to do anything.
Their contract is like crochet. There's so many loopholes in it, you know. So.
Yeah.
Holy. I'm going back over through the list as well, just while we move on to the next story. We've got Shane Ashby. Hey, buddy. He says, "It's okay to stop looking. I am here." How are we all? That's a really good question, since we haven't actually said that. So, Taz, how
No
are
one
you?
ever knows how we are. I'm great. I'm just a little bit tired. You know how it is in the morning on a
Have
Saturday.
you got your coffee?
Yeah, this is my second cup in about 5 minutes, so we'll see how we go.
You got me. Brad, how are you?
I'm pretty good that Shane's in now. That's brightened my day.
I know, I think I was glistening on the forehead. I'd started to sweat because I was really worried, but he is here. Shane, putting it back at you, how are you? And Marcus is working on some nicknames for you, Brad, as well, so I'll get to those at the end of the show. If you haven't heard, we are looking for a new nickname for Brad. We'll read them out at the end. So moving on to the next piece of news, Brad.
Okay, so just a bit of minor news in the week, but if you really like cool PlayStation 4s, Japan is getting a pretty sweet silver one for Dragon Quest.
Now, Japan's relationship with Dragon Quest is just unlike anything I've ever seen. We all know that, you know, Nintendo comes from Japan, and their relationship with the DS and the handheld console is exquisite. It's nothing like what Australia has. This is like, you don't leave the house without your wallet or your phone or your DS. Now, in Japan, they have Dragon Quest cafes, and they are
Crazy.
They are themed to Dragon Quest, whether it's like your home, the home tavern, I think it's got. So it's laid out like that. They play the music in there, and they have obviously tailored beverages and food from Dragon Quest. And you go in there with other like-minded, hardcore addicted Dragon Quest players, so that you can trade off your treasure maps, you know, and all that kind of stuff. You can invite people into your game as well, so you can meet up with strangers to help you out with your game. This is ridiculous. So the fact that they're getting a brand new silver console dedicated for Dragon Quest isn't surprising for me at all. I just think it sucks that the rest of the world can't have like a metallic blue one or a metallic gold one. They get the silver one.
Yeah, it's kind of really cool. It comes with a little blob on it too. I haven't played a lot of Dragon Quest. Like, I haven't played really any of it, but it even comes with like a little blob thing that sits on it, which
Yeah,
I assume is like an iconic character from the
it is.
game.
It is. They're like
Um,
the easy monster.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally awesome. Like I want to see an Australian one. I want to see, I
Green
want to
and gold.
see.
What I
Yeah,
didn't put together though, the two and two that just didn't equate in my head just then was that PlayStation 4 is bringing out Dragon Quest when Dragon Quest is exclusively Nintendo in Australia.
yeah.
So,
Is it on the Sony in Japan?
Must be if they're
well,
bringing out a PS4
hope
It
for it.
might be.
so.
It must be. Yeah. Or
Or they're just like, hey, we're just going to bring out this random console.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is the
someone is-
trolliest message I have ever
Yeah.
received. Well
Someone at
played.
Sony PR just went, wait a minute.
Yeah. We're tapping in. God, that nearly went right over my head as well. I can't get that past me. Speaking of Nintendo products, the 3DS, we've got a brand new one. Better processor, better graphics, new triggers, a C-pad, amiibo support. Tell us about the new 3DS and why, if we already have one, we just shouldn't use it anymore. We should get a new one.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to go get a new one, but it kind of does suck if you have a 3DS and you really like it, that there's just a way better version out. It's way better. It has as Maud said, it has a better processor, so it has better download speeds and better graphics, which is pretty important. Plus, Nintendo's really pushing for the amiibo, which is like their take on Skylanders, little figurines, and it has amiibo support. So that's kind of something you want if you're a fan. It even has new triggers and a C-pad. I haven't seen the console. I don't think they've released an actual image of it yet.
Have we got colours? I think I've seen a white one and a blue one, perhaps.
Maybe.
I thought
There's
they were
lots of
still
models.
black and white, as far as I'd seen, but they probably
Black
do have
and white.
colours as well.
They all
See,
come in
Taz and I
different
have
colours.
an
There's like
identical
30,000 of them.
We don't have identical ones. You got the giant one. I didn't
Who
go
has
for
the
the giant
big blue
one.
one as well? Someone has a big blue one.
No, I went for the little purple one, okay?
Oh, that's right. I was going to choose a little purple one because purple's my favorite color, but I went the giant blue one because I have long fingers and I need a bigger console in my hand. Eee, fooling man. So hold on. Do you think that this is something that everyone should keep on their radars?
Yeah, definitely. I want one, and I honestly don't play my 3DS a lot, but I want one because it's way better.
You know what though? I'm immune to this because I have an iPhone and they bring out a new iPhone every 18 months or something and then they bring out the next make and then it gets better and then so as soon as you buy something new, like 6 months later there's a better one of it. So like every time Apple's like, oh, the new iPhone 6, I'm like, yawn. I'll get it in 2 years.
Nintendo totally could have marketed this as like a next step. Like they could have called this the Nintendo whatever. Like they could have marketed it as the next evolution of 3DS because of the upgrades, which is.
I don't think there's enough different. Like I mean, the normal DS and then the 3DS, like that's the jump up. It's 3D graphics. Sure, no one actually uses it, but it's still something that you could have done, which was a bit mind blowing. Yeah, Nintendo's always been really good with like, when they went from the GameCube to the Wii, it was revolutionary gaming. And then all 2D graphics into a 3D without glasses. Whoa! I think that if they're going to do a new handheld console, that it's going to be.
Yeah, I guess that's why they didn't attempt to market it as a brand new console. They just called it like an updated version of the 3DS because it doesn't have anything revolutionary. But
yeah. Next story, layoffs are happening in the ZeniMax studios. Obviously, Elder Scrolls Online, the developers, it's getting a little bit, I think with all MMOs, they have a huge team on board to do it all. They do a alpha, they do the beta opens, they find out all the glitches, and in this case, they don't find all the glitches. They release the game. I think the fact that they brought it out on PC and Mac's really cool, but the delay going into the console, as soon as it's released, I'm not sure how many people will still care. I mean,
no
you
one
don't
really
go to your console to play an MMO as much these days. It's more for your friend lists and playing with people that you actually know, unless you're in a lobby kind of situation for an FPS. But what does everyone think about this particular news? Layoffs happening.
I mean, it's been happening everywhere. It's just been spiraling at this point. It's ridiculous, and it's definitely going to have repercussions on the gaming industry. But it happens.
I really want I think it would be really, really smart if someone actually kind of created a team of developers that just worked on the for any game release. So it's like the team of 6 come in. I'm like thinking the Avengers. So they walk in, they put on their shades, and they're like coding, and they're like a super group. But they only work for 3 months at a time on games leading up to the release as a freelance capacity, because these jobs, there's no job security anymore in game developing. I feel like,
Yeah. Definitely the case of MMOs.
Sorry, Irrationate Games did the same thing. They had great games, and then they went, all right, we're not that company anymore. We're going to do other things, and we've got 40 employees plus, and you're all gone now. I think that being a developer in this day and age is very, very, sweat-inducing.
Yeah, it's pretty risky.
So if you just get like the elite team...
It's like leading to the point where they're all now making indie games, though. They're all coming up with their own indie game companies, so it's boosting that industry quite positively. And I think it just means we're going to see more and more independent games better and better, because these developers who are at the AAA studios are now making their own games. So it's sort of a, they're not going to just stop making games. We're still going to get content from them. They're just going to find creative ways to feed themselves.
Which are mostly funded by Kickstarter.
Yeah. Which they may or may not have to work at. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see the connection, circle of life in the gaming world. Yeah. but
all right. Oh, go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, even if the console version of Elder Scrolls Online releases, like, soon, it's a really bad time for them to launch anywhere in the next 6 months, because you have so much competition on console, it's not funny. Next
October.
Tuesday. Yeah, October's crazy. We have Destiny coming up. That's huge. So
Destiny's in 4 days. That'll take people for a month. It's like when Titanfall came out. There was nothing else on the market, so everyone went, Titanfall! Blah, 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 and they played Titanfall for a month until the next game came out, and they're like, next game! That's what's going to happen. But because Elder Scrolls has been out, everyone's seen what it looks like, the feel of it, the reviews have all come out. So yeah, when every other game comes out in October, some of the titles already, we've got Arkham Knight is coming out in October, Shadows of Mordor is coming out end of October as well. What else is coming out in October?
Oh, Batman got pushed back, which is another issue. Yeah, that's next year now.
Oh, fuck up.
Yeah.
The game looked great when I played it at E3. It looked great. Yeah.
We got your Middle-earth, October, you've got Far Cry 3 coming up. Your Call of Duty.
Far Cry 4?
Far Cry 4, sorry.
That's alright.
Easy mistake. They kind of look like the same game.
Ooh, now that's another thing.
Yeah, I'm going
There's elephants!
Yeah, elephants and whatever. I'll play 50 hours of it still. Don't worry. I'm not hating. I'm not hating. It's a good game. Don't fix when it's broke. Alright, so Far Cry 3 is good.
That's Ubisoft's major mentality. Just think of every game they're putting out. Awesome. Okay, moving on to the next stories. We'll go through them really, really quickly because we've kind of been having a big chat about the news, which I don't mind about. But you said that there's more finger pointing at the Sega Gearbox Aliens.
Colonial Marines.
Colonial Marines. Colonial. I really struggle saying colonial. You know how everyone's got a word they can't say? Femininity. I can nail that one. Colonial. It's because I can't say Billy Connolly. I said
Damn it.
I usually say colony.
I don't understand.
Aliens, Billy Connolly, Marines.
Billy Colony. I always call him Colony. Anyway, enough about me. Tell us about this story.
Basically, cause there's more finger pointing in the whole saga between Sega and Gearbox. If you're up to date on that, there's Aliens Colonial sucks, and Sega is blaming Gearbox for mismarketing the game and making false promises. No one's in the right here. I don't think the lawsuit's going to go anywhere, but it's just more finger pointing. It's just a mudslinging, screaming match at this point. It's just dudes screaming at each other. That's all it is.
I don't think you can blame it because it's like whatever they put out, they would have had to have approved it. They would have seen it and been like, "Wow, this is nothing like what we thought it was." That's because it's nothing like it is.
Yeah.
And I think they just saw that it was a really cool trailer, and they just went, "Go with it. We'll figure out the rest later." It's like, oh, now you get a lawsuit. Next news. We have Rise, Son of Rome is confirmed for PC in an October launch. There you go, another game in October. No, I don't think too many people care about the fact that Rise, Son of Rome is coming to PC, but Brad, you're excited because an Xbox exclusive title is moving to PC, and this is possibly the first of many games to do so.
Yeah, no, it's good news. It's the second. We had one last week. It was Dead Rising 3. So it's the first little bunch of games. I think Microsoft is finally.
Titanfall was Xbox exclusive going to PC.
Yeah, well, I think it was a launch title like on both. Like these games were exclusive then 6 months later or whatever. It's nearly been a year actually.
Gotcha.
On PC. Yeah. But I think Microsoft are kind of finally perking up and going, wait a second, there's lots of PC gamers. We should maybe release some games on the PC. And it's cool because a bunch of those games are actually really good. Rise was not one. If you like dialing phone numbers, that's basically how fun that game is.
Right.
Dead Rising 3 is awesome. So I was super happy, and it actually has exclusive content in it. So it's better than the Xbox one. It's just a good sign. It's a good sign for everyone. More games on more platforms. Awesome.
My problem that I have with this is that Microsoft is only now. I mean, we got the first Xbox out, 2004 or something? 2005 is when the first Xbox was released. Nearly
I don't know.
10 years later, Microsoft, after releasing a very successful console, has been like, oh, big. You started off in computers, Microsoft. You dominated the computer world, and then you forgot about it? That's how you made your money.
Incredibly slow reaction times. It reminds me when Homer Simpson gets hit in the knee. And wait for hours. It's like, there's money there, guys. There's money. There's money there.
That just makes no sense that they're exclusive to their console, but not all of their computer ranges. Anyway.
Yeah.
Also, a lovely little tip of the hat to Robin Williams. A tribute has been discovered in in the Warlords of Draenor latest patch. Someone has made the genie from Aladdin, which is really cute.
Yeah, it's just nice.
He was an avid World of Warcraft character. Player.
Yeah, he was cool. He was an avid gamer. He was an avid pop culture lover. Awesome dude. Loved anime. Loved Evangelion. He just lots of awesome stuff. His daughter's name's Zelda, which is really cool.
I want you guys to look on the ground for a second. Can you just look on the ground? Because I'm just going to drop a name. I'm just going to drop the name. There it is. When I interviewed Robin Williams, let's see. Yeah, landed. Good. We actually spoke about gaming because I was like, I didn't really want to talk about the Happy Feet 2. I don't really care. But I said, look, you're a big gamer. I actually play World of Warcraft. And he said, what's your gamer name? And I was like, Maud still? And he goes, you have the power to become anyone and have any name in the world. It could be Soul Destroyer. It could be, Excalibur. You're still Maud. And he ripped me a new one. He's like, oh, come on, Maud. We have to go questing now. Ooh, level 40. Can you get to level 40, Maud? I was like, oh.
That's awesome.
It's a very valid point that you are making. The fact that he knew all about World of Warcraft when we were talking about that, it's beautiful that we've got this tribute happening. Especially the genie. There's so many more characters that they can make. That's just one of them. I wouldn't mind seeing a Hook one as well.
That would be cool. Hook reference. Yeah, Blizzard are pretty cool when it comes to that stuff. They've been known to be pretty sweet. There's actually heaps of things in the game for people that have passed away. They're pretty cool about it, and this just adds to that.
Well, I know that they are also having, isn't there a Leroy Jenkins kind of dungeon or something in Warlords of Draenor?
Oh, I think Leroy Jenkins is in the remake or the Legendary of Blackrock Spire or whatever it is, but it's cool. He's now there. Leroy Jenkins is ingrained in World of Warcraft forever. He's a Hearthstone card. He's a Hearthstone card. He's actually a really good Hearthstone card, actually, if you're playing with Miracle Road.
The last story for the news in gaming this week: EA reprints Skate 3 because PewDiePie is playing it. This is the fact that YouTubers have absolute crazy influence and that EA is bowing down to PewDiePie's impact on gamers. Yeah. What has he got? 7 million? How many millions of subscribers has he got now?
He's number one, right?
He's number one. Yeah, he's number one.
I think the 7 million I'm actually pulling from is that that's how much he makes a year. He makes $7 million a year doing streaming. 7 million.
Yeah.
Guys, do you know what you can buy for $7 million?
If that's the case, then how much is Sony actually paying him to play Skate 3 is probably the real question. Sure, they're reprinting it, but which came first?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think he played it on his own free will, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna."
Well, you never know though with those sorts of things.
But I mean,
he has done a lot of sponsorship stuff before.
And
lots of it.
Yeah. Like that is just free money. The thing is that if you were the marketing department for Sony as well, you could be like, all right, we could put out ads on buses and on trains, all that kind of thing, billboards. The marketing campaign would be about $7 million in itself, maybe even more, $35 million. Or they say, we chuck this one guy $100,000 to play a game for a week or two, and they have even more of a concentrated reach to their target audience. Clever.
Yeah. EA are pretty like they could just have a factory full of Skate 3s and like, how do we get rid of these? Like, it's gonna make PewDiePie play it.
That's
Make PewDiePie play it. This shows that like there's a crazy amount of influence that YouTubers have when it comes to YouTubers and Twitch streamers for video games these days is insane.
That's it. Good on them, I say. But I just also I've noticed how many other millions of people are trying to do it just so they can become the next PewDiePie. One day. We are taking your questions. If you do see the comment box below, just write in there, or you can tweet us at Geek Bombshells. I'm going to go back through some of the news topics. Sandy Young's here. Hey, Sandy. She is a guest contributor for Geek Bomb. She says, Apple are the worst at forcing upgrades of their products. Guess Nintendo are just borrowing some of Apple's business models. I cannot agree more. I've had someone actually tell me when they did a documentary on Apple that they purposely use hardware and product makeup for their products. Product makeup? You're making sense today, Maud. That is not designed to last. So I remember one of the manufacturing companies was like, we can use this kind of framing or whatever that will cost the same or a little bit more than this one. This one will last 25 years. This one will last 2 years. They will always choose the one that will not last, because they are always trying to make sure that whatever you have will never last more than 2 or 3 years. When it breaks, you have to buy a new one.
It's crazy.
Yep. That's how it works.
That is how it all works. Theon Pekka has said, I hope they drop the new from the name of the 3DS. I agree. Maddie, hello, aka Rouge. She is a Geek Bombshell contributor. She has informed us that the 3DS is in black and white. The 3DS XL, however, is in metallic blue and metallic black. Aha, that's where I got the blue from. She said the new models are great, 3D from any angle. So they finally got, their head on the whole, if you had it in the wrong way, you kind of felt motion sickness. Yeah.
I never even used the 3D.
Yeah, I've never turned it on.
Nah.
I mean, I think it's amazing technology. I do.
It's
when
cool.
I first saw it, I was like, this is awesome! I'm over it already! Yeah. Theona's also decided to get some nicknames for you, Brad. We are searching for Brad's new nickname. We are not happy with the Westie. Because if you are from Sydney...
Brad Weston, for Christ's sake. It's a family thing.
In Sydney, Westies it's not a compliment. If you are a Westie, you are probably racist and you are yelling at people on public transport. That is a generalized understanding of what a Westie is.
Very I never knew that was a slang for like so long.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, they're such a Westie. Where they from, Blacktown?
Yeah, that's the thing. And it is a generalization, and I do
Don't do that more. You're gonna alienate half of our audience.
Oh, by saying that, you just... I'm just trying to explain what a Westie is, so we are looking for new ones. Theone has said, all right, nicknames for Brad. Pumpkin, B-Rad, Sally Joe. I like
Sally Joe.
Sally Joe.
Sally Joe.
Pumpkin come from?
Pumpkin is actually what I call my mother, so no, you will not be Pumpkin. Pumpkin. That's my mum.
Oh,
My mum calls me Pumpkin Scene. No, you are not Pumpkin. I refuse. Normandy117, Dawn of Justice League, has said, Wild looks amazing. You can play as any NPC in the game. A wolf, a giant, obviously human, and so much more. When you see a bird, that will be another player. Has anyone heard of Wild?
Yep. Showed at
What are your thoughts on
Gamescom.
it?
It's pretty cool. I like the art style. I like the art style a lot. Wasn't my favorite game from. I don't think Sony did awesomely at Gamescom.
Okay.
They did okay, but it does look cool. I want to see more later on. Again, I'm super skeptical about games. I'm like, I've been let down too many times. So once it comes close to the launch and everyone's like, yeah, it's sick, it's sick, it's sick, I'll be like, yeah, cool, all right, sweet. But so far, it does look really, really cool. I like the art style a lot.
I think that skepticism is actually very, very wise. Instead of, oh, pretty lights. So good.
Yeah.
Shane Ashby has said, I'm good, to our question of asking how he is. Interesting that you're talking about Kickstarter, as I will have to use this soon, as I'll need cash to develop my game, which is years away, but it's good to get advice. Hey, Shane, guess what? You don't even need to make the game for your Kickstarter. That's what we're trying to say. Scam the shit out of everyone, apparently.
Yeah.
And then Doctor has said 11 a.m. is too early, and then a face that goes like this. Well, it's
All right, I'll go back to bed then, guys.
It's 6:40 in the evening here in LA. Normandy has also said Maud Garrett looks like Vera Farmiga from The Conjuring. I have had that. And Iggy Azalea. They're the two that I'm getting all the time. And Vera is, late 30s, early 40s, and Iggy's like 5 years younger than me. So I'm like, if they had sex.
You're like in between, yeah.
Did anyone else just imagine them having sex, or was that me? And that's kind of weird for me because they both look like me, so I can't enjoy that.
It's just like a Maud orgy.
And then I come in and tap their shoulder. I'm like, is there room for one more? No. Okay. So keep commenting in. I'm blushing at my own sex dream.
Why do you always go there?
Because I need to get
First day
laid
to
on
play.
by my doppelgangers. Okay, I'm stopping. No more. That's enough. Keep getting your comments in. We are going to them all the time. And now this episode is all about multiplayer games. And the reason that is because Destiny is releasing in 4 days' time. We're going to have a big chat about our thoughts of Destiny. We would love to know your thoughts as well. But we are asking the question, what is the best multiplayer game of all time? I want you to have a big think about it. Brad and Taz and I, we are all going to have a think about it as well. We've got Tegan, who is one of our contributors. She's weighed in on it as well. She's a big fan, get this, of Counter-Strike. She said double doors. Yeah, I loved Counter-Strike. I got dumped when I was 16 for playing Counter-Strike. I pretended I did not know how to play it, and I dominated all the guys there, and the guy broke up with me.
Whoa, that's a good story for another day.
Yeah, right. Broken hearts. Mark _D _Isaacson has said GoldenEye changed the face of console multiplayer. It is still fun even today.
Yep.
I agree. So, Chris Grover said Rage Quack confirmed.
Grover, what are you doing? Why are you watching this?
Oh my god, Rage Quack. I Rage Quack so much.
Oh my god.
I'm like such a grammar Nazi as well. I love spelling and grammar, so the fact that I just introduced Rage Quack to everyone makes me really upset, but also slightly aroused. All right. So, guys, let's break it down. We are focusing on a particular game. The game is Destiny. 9th of September, it's going to be released. Activision and Bungie have teamed up for this one. Bungie are the same guys that did Halo. Halo was a huge success. It still is. That's one of the best multiplayer games of all time. Halo 3 over all the rest, but, that's my opinion. So, this particular game, we've all had hands-on time with it. I saw it at E3 this year. I played a PvP game, which I wasn't a big fan of, but what I loved were the cinematic trailers and the endless possibilities. So out of all the things that it offers, so we have a multiplayer, we've got the PvP arena, we've got the single-player campaign, we've got a storyline, we've got quests, open world. Honestly, it's like everything that you can do in a game, they're letting you do it. For me, it was a single-player campaign or inviting your friends into your solo missions to explore the worlds and to do quests like that. Guys, what were your first impressions of this game? You've gotten hands-on. Taz, I'm going to pass it over to you. What are your thoughts on it? And I want to hear everyone else's too.
Yeah, there's definitely positives and negatives about the game. I played it on Xbox One and PS4 throughout the beta, and I played every mission on both. So got quite a good read on it. The things that I liked were I just like the idea of an MMO FPS. So I like FPSs. I like playing multiplayer games with my friends, particularly FPSs. But I also like the ability that we were teaming up and not just playing in an arena. However, you are limited to 3 people in your fire team, so you can only play with 2 other people at once, which is a little bit, that's a little bit frustrating because I tend to play with a bigger group of people. So you are limited by that. And then you're also limited by there's only 3 different types of characters you can play. So you can play the Titan, the Hunter, or the Warlock.
What do you like?
I played all 3 of those as well. I prefer the Titan, but I like going in ranged. I like using sniper rifles and things like that. The Warlock has some cool abilities, and the Hunter also has like a pretty badass gun thing that it pulls out when you have like a special ability. So they're all good, and yeah, I mean they're all guns. Everyone has guns, but they all have certain special abilities and certain abilities in terms of how you jump and how you float and things like that. Those are the differences. The characters all feel reasonably similar because they are all obviously going to be sort of hard out offensive characters. You don't really have the Warlock, doesn't really support. You don't really have any support characters. So the team dynamics are a little bit interesting. It's not really like a typical raiding team. You don't have someone supporting, someone healing, someone, DPS. It's just you're all DPS basically.
Ooh,
but it's fine and it works. And then you've got cool things like obviously the same sort of mission-y things with other people in the area. What do you call those? So there's like a giant boss. Every now
the
and
dungeons,
again.
Usually, that's what they are.
Well, they're not dungeons. You don't go through the. It's like when they pop up. Yeah, they pop up randomly. It happens in most
events.
Boss battles. What are they called?
Yeah, random world events.
Yeah.
World events.
Yeah, random world events. That's what I'm looking for. Those are really fun. When those popped up, we would bring in a huge team, and everyone got to play together then. But that's the only time you really get to interact with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, totally loved it. I was addicted from like the get-go, basically as soon as I started, and it made me want to play both, play it both twice on PS4 and Xbox One.
Wow.
The difference between the 2 consoles was pretty dramatic. It looks spectacular on PS4. It looks horrific on Xbox One. The comparison is enormous. I think if you just played Xbox One, you probably wouldn't really notice how terrible looking it was. But when you put them next to each other, or when you play them a day after each other, like I did, like the Xbox One the textures are horrible. You don't get those huge cinematics. It doesn't look very great. Like the world doesn't look that great. The hair looks crap, and I like when PS4 has great hair. I don't know. So I would suggest if you're gonna go for it, go for the PS4 version if you can. The only problem being that the PS4 triggers aren't great. So I was getting like hand cramps from using the triggers on PS4, which is quite frustrating. But,
I think you'd get those if you're a guy.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting it day 1. Yeah, maybe not.
All right, Brad, your thoughts. Destiny.
That's all I've got to say.
Destiny is awesome. Undoubtedly my most look forward to game of the year. But my issue first, I've got to like clarify for people that haven't played the beta or don't understand. So the game isn't as open as you think. So the only place on Earth that you can explore is old Russia. That is it. There's nowhere on Earth besides old Russia that you can go.
It's definitely not an open world MMO.
Not a bad thing. Yeah, it's not as open as you think it is. It's open in the sense that you can go.
Each of the areas are quite
planet.
small, though. To different areas.
Yeah, and they're instance-based.
But the planets aren't open.
So, but we're going to... Yeah.
So it's like Mass Effect.
Yeah. So we're going to get hate.
You go to different planets, but you only have a mission in but a particular part of it. Okay.
Yep.
Because in the trailer, like when they showcased
it's
it
not
at
like
E3,
No Man's Sky.
Oh, okay. When they were showcasing it at E3, it was just like, do you want to battle your friends? You can. Do you want single player? You can. Are you an explorer? You can do that too. And I was like, I'm an explorer. Call me Dora. Okay.
You still can go to quite... It's like not every MMO is going to necessarily be entirely open world, like Warcraft or whatever.
They bloody cut to a scene where they were all sitting on a rock and it looked like they had a packed lunch and they were eating a sandwich going, we're going to explore this place next. And I was like, that looks so lovely. Is there ham on your sandwich?
Yeah, there are still areas to explore. We haven't seen very much too. We only got to go to Earth and the Moon. Is that was all that we or Mars and the Moon? I don't remember.
On the moon.
Whatever. But explored certain areas, so I'm sure there will be significantly more areas to explore, and the areas are reasonably large, but it definitely depends on where you are.
Cool. So multiplayer-wise,
The role
is it going to be as good as Halo 3?
Yeah.
The
Like, as successful,
arena,
you mean as
the
successful,
PvP arena,
or-
Taz?
I was just saying I wasn't a fan of the Chronicle, what's it called? The arena. There was only one game type available to play, and it was a defend the territory game type. But it just didn't hook me. I wasn't a huge fan of the way that it played and of the dynamics between the different characters and things like that. But it could get better with more game types, so we'll see. You know, I like when I'm playing. Sorry, go.
I was just saying I played that exact one at E3, and the problems that I found with that, it was a lot more Call of Duty than it was Halo, which I didn't like. I much prefer Halo as a multiplayer. But there was terrible recoil on the weapons. So you would shoot and you'd be like, poof, and all of a sudden your hand's over there and you're like...
That's interesting, because I actually found the opposite with the weapons, particularly the sniper rifle has no recoil, and you can just snipe people like it's a DMR. It's crazy. So maybe that's something that they changed for the beta. Maybe it's still not perfect.
Because that would have been my number one feedback. They would have been like, how was it? And I was like, it's great if you want to shoot the ceiling.
Maybe you're just using the wrong weapon. No, but I haven't had a problem with recoil. I didn't even in the PvP. But the dynamic wasn't super fun. But I don't like that type of game type. So when it's just a 4v4 or whatever, it might be significantly better. So we'll see then.
Brad, will this be better than Halo 3?
No.
I think when you say better, I think it'll be more successful, and I do see a competitive scene for the Crucible and like the PvP. Yes.
Will this be
It's
on an
hard to say,
esports
yeah.
lineup?
No.
It's hard. Yeah, no, probably not. But I do see it like having like
I
a
don't think the
scene.
PvP
Maybe not.
will be that successful.
One at a time. What's
I
going on?
like the PvP. I liked it.
It's not that it was terrible. I just don't think that it was it's just other people have done it better. Other games have done it significantly better, so why would you play something slightly worse?
Are they trying to do too
I think
much,
we'll see
maybe?
more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
again,
know.
we've only seen the
You
beta, so
definitely
once we
can't
get the full game.
You can't judge from the beta, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And with the sniper rifle, the recoil, Bungie traditionally with their sniper rifles don't have recoil. Like the sniper rifle in Halo is pretty on point.
Yeah, that's what Taz was saying. She loves a good snipe. So let's open up the discussions. Obviously, we're all excited for Destiny. It's got great graphics. It's got so many opportunities. Like whatever kind of game you like to play, there is a part of that game that would really appeal to you. But we are all about multiplayers, and we have gotten a lot of responses for the best multiplayer game.
Before we move on, sorry, 1 second. Before we move on from this, there's just a really interesting news article that just popped up regarding Destiny that I think we should talk about.
Definitely, go.
And that is, and I'll show you the picture, that Xbox have put out an advertising campaign. So obviously, I don't know if most people will be aware that Bungie and PlayStation have teamed up a little bit on this game. So there's a lot of exclusive content for PlayStation 4 that isn't on Xbox One. And also the marketing campaign is heavily based around PS4. So most of the Destiny advertising you'll see is about PS4. So Xbox have come out with an interesting advertising campaign, and I'm not sure if they're joking or not, but I will show you what it looks like. Basically, it says, here's the lowdown. Destiny is actually an epic new first-person shooter available on Xbox. Thing is, we didn't have the permission to run adverts for the game, so we didn't. Thanks for smelling that something was up. Now get the game and become a legend.
What is that about?
I don't know, but it's all over. If you look, it's all over there. The official Xbox UK Twitter and Facebook.
There's some shit going down with Bungie and Activision.
Magazine. I mean, they've definitely been in cahoots with PlayStation, and they're not denying that at all. All my chats are open, whatever.
Taz, good find.
Well, actually, it was Rouge. Rouge found this, and I saw it on our Facebook group. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if it's passive aggressive or if it's like
that's passive aggressive. That is. They may as well have just put a face of this.
I don't know how they're going to rectify the relationship between Bungie and Xbox if that is the case, or if they're not allowed to advertise, how are they allowed to say that? I don't really get it.
I feel like
I
they
don't understand
could.
at all.
Juicy.
Yeah, it's possibly an interesting campaign that they've tried, and they have permission from Bungie, but I don't know.
Something's up.
Definitely
And they
different.
had like what, a half a billion dollar marketing campaign, and they're just putting it all on PlayStation 4, pretty much. Oh,
Which
Yeah.
is considering Bungie and Microsoft used to be pals and only do
Yeah.
exclusives with Microsoft. I mean, they've jumped ship. They've jumped ship like something shocking.
Yeah, there was rumors that they'd left on pretty poor terms. So, yeah, that could be something right there.
we are getting your thoughts on Destiny. You are writing them in the comment box under this video. Theon has said, I was not going to get Destiny. I thought it was going to be bad. I was lucky enough to get an alpha invite. I played it for 5 minutes and fell in love and went and ordered it the next day. That is a true love story right there. James McGowan has said, when Destiny was first being bantered about, they mentioned that they have several years of plans for the game. I've heard that as well. There is a lot of longevity. How many years did Halo... How many decades did Halo go on for? 1 point something. Good at maths, Maud. So, yeah, that's fantastic. It is sounding more and more like this game is made to be played on a PlayStation 4 and not Xbox. If they're providing exclusive DLC for PlayStation 4, but I mean, if they want, I don't understand. That's a headache. That's a headache right there. But it's exciting at the same time. Good bet. Thanks, Rouge.
With the lifespan of Destiny, they are planning. Their original plan was, I think, every 3 years for the next 10 years to release an expansion, something like that, plus DLC within that. We've already got 2 DLCs announced: House of Wolves, and I can't remember the other one. But yeah, it's clearly going to get a lot of attention and more content soon.
Guys, do you think it's because Xbox is re-releasing every single Halo game in a giant Halo pack, and that's Xbox exclusive, and Bungie has gone, screw you, Xbox, for releasing all of the Halo stuff. We're going to focus on PlayStation 4 and really make this a rivalry.
It quite possibly could be in relation to that. Probably a bunch of things.
I don't know if it's exactly that. It's probably, if it is anything, it's probably something behind the scenes that we'll never even know about.
I'll get to the bottom of it. All right, so that's Destiny over. Look, to finish things off, we are coming up to an hour. So, right now, everyone, tweet us, write in the comment box, what is the best multiplayer game of all time and why? I've got quite a few games that I played in multiplayer that shaped my life, but I'll start it off with you, Taz. What are some of the best multiplayer games ever and why?
See, I don't think that I can accurately say what are the best games ever, but I can tell you what my favorite multiplayer games, because I started, the biggest part of my life gaming has always been multiplayer games, particularly Halo. Like you were saying, Halo 3 was when I first started playing Xbox 360, and that's probably what started me back into gaming when I was at a point where I wasn't gaming very much, and I used to just play that at LAN events with friends all the time. But the first multiplayer game that really got me was actually Crash Bash. Which probably hasn't been mentioned because no one seems to care. But,
you made that up.
Yeah, totally
That's
made that up. PlayStation 1. Yes, do you really not know what Crash Bash is?
I thought it was I'm not finishing that sentence.
Dude, I'm gonna blow your mind. Don't say that sentence. So Crash Bash it's based around the Crash Bandicoot universe. It was on PS1. It was a 4-player game on PS1 where it had a bunch of different sort of mini-game type things, and you played as different Crash Bandicoot characters against each other and co-op as well, which was really fun. But I used to just get together with my friends literally every week and play Crash Bash. And because it was 5 different games in one, there was something for everyone. And that was that was what solidified me as a gamer, was that game. That and Crash Team Racing. So I was big on Crash back then. Didn't have a Nintendo, so I didn't play any Mario Kart.
I didn't have the PlayStation.
Yeah. So PlayStation.
You were like the parallel version of my life. You were like,
exactly.
When the dimensions. It's like, are we going to get a PlayStation or a Nintendo?
And then we split it in half. That would explain why we're so similar, but yet slightly different. But that was it for me. Crash Team Racing, Crash Bash, and then Halo later on.
Well, we did put the question up to you on Twitter and on Facebook. I'm going to read some of those out before we get to you, Brad. On the Facebook page, we have Blaine, buddy, short answers. But he has an essay there if anyone would like to read it, because he does go into extreme details about how it is 4:30 in the morning, that he hasn't gone to bed, but he would like to join us here. I don't know, are you here, buddy? Or maybe you slept, maybe you did not. A couple of the ones that I'm browsing through in here is... Oh my god. Halo is his number one. Second is Star Wars Battlefront 2. He also likes GoldenEye. That comes in the third position. But then he can go into fighting games, as he does with Dragon Ball Z. He also lists a bunch of MMORPGs that he loves, including Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, which is there for those playing at home. Ah! There we go. Then he lists a bunch more on the DS3, 3DS, Wii. There's a bunch there. Rouge, who is all over all our comments, get in touch with Rouge. Make sure you follow her. She is a bombshell. She says Gary's mod for sure. I have to download this game because you won't stop talking about it, so I'm going to go completely in on that one. Andrew Chapman has said he's going to go old school for this one. Half-Life 1 mods. DOD, Counter-Strike. The 14-year-old him was going very strong with those. Honourable mentions for COD 4, which is for the COD phase. Bad Company 2, Borderlands 1, and then Mag. Oh my god, remember Mag? Matthew says Quake 3. Brandon Thwaite says Halo 3 for sure. Brad, your turn. Your favourite multiplayer games.
My favourite multiplayer games have to be, well, I'll start from an early age. Was Warcraft 3 multiplayer was insanely fun for me. Warcraft 3 was huge. Just the standard game modes, and then from that I went to Dota, and Dota is huge. That changed a lot for PC multiplayer, especially like going into like League of Legends and the new Valve or Steam controlled Dota as well. That's huge. League of Legends is the biggest esport in the world, biggest multiplayer game in the world, undisputed. And I play heaps of League posters and stuff like that. But for other titles like Halo, played a whole bunch of Halo. Counter-Strike, absolutely huge. That's probably my biggest FPS multiplayer that kind of really is inside me. But yeah, Counter-Strike is probably my pick.
Okay. Going back to the comments and tweets, we've got Sia Patel. She's so cute. She said, when did everyone become too cool for Pokemon? I think I missed that announcement. I am not too cool for Pokemon. I still have it. I still play it. I still have favorites. Don't you worry. Doctor has said, Halo 3. I remember sitting with friends, shout out to Nate, for playing hours on end. Sniper, shotgun, wars on Valhalla, beatdowns in the pit. Ah, the memories. Carlo has said, System Link on Halo CE. Star Kid Potter has said, where's Nathan? He's my eye candy. Why would you do this to me? Well, Nate is actually at Brisbane Comic-Con today, but don't worry, he's doing a lot more Press A to Play stuff, so keep it in your pants. Clerical Error has said, patiently waiting for the Division to upgrade to a next-gen console. I just don't get the Destiny buzz. Shane Ashby says, best multiplayer game, though you can't, you cannot go past Mario Kart. Always good fun, especially when booze is involved. And I think Doctor actually wants to credit Nate, who is Boy Bomb, for getting him into Halo. He said that he came around, introduced him to Xbox Live and Halo 3, and just said that that was the best thing that ever happened. Oh, here it is. He introduced it to me 6 years ago when he came over and introduced me to Xbox Live and Halo Match. Maddie, a.k.a. Rouge, has said has to be World of Warcraft.
That's a big one. Yeah.
That is a huge one. That is a huge one. We've got a few more questions that we may get to the end. For me, my first multiplayer experiences, I started gaming when there were only two at a time. So on the Super Nintendo and the original Nintendo, there was only two players, and I had two older brothers. So I was really good at watching games. I was not allowed to play the game. So for me, the first kind of time when I was allowed to get involved was when I was 8. And at my dad's work, there were 3 computers in the office that had link up on LAN. So the first game was Doom, and then it was Doom. I don't know if it started off with Doom 2 or Doom 3, but it was the consecutive of those two. And then it was Duke Nukem 3D, and then it was Heretic. So for me, being able to play link up There were 4 computers, sorry, and then one of our brothers came to play along, and we were the coolest kids in the school because someone was like, "Who's gonna play next time?" So for me, that was like the tits. Quake was in there as well, and that's when I became really good at games like Counter-Strike, which ended up with a relationship. Then the next time when multiplayer shaped my life, it was the Mario Karts and GoldenEyes. I had the 64. So again, there was a 4th player, so we were able to get a friend in, or dad, or mum, even though she was shit. She'd think she was so good, and she was like, "Oh, this is so easy." It's like, "Mum, you're actually the one running into the wall over and over again." Oh. Long story short, I think for me, it was that inclusion that made me enjoy the multiplayer games. To the person that say the GoldenEye still holds true now, I disagree. I tried to play it the other month, and I felt it to be so infuriating because we have come so far. Maybe it's because my controller was so old and damaged that like every second button maybe it would work. But Mario Kart still holds up. So I'm going to say, after a long-winded little discussion, that Mario Kart has to be the best multiplayer game of all time. But that's just our thoughts. What are your thoughts? We would love to know because we'll tally them up and we'll hopefully have crowned a winner. At the moment, it is between Mario Kart GoldenEye and Halo. So, favorite multiplayer game? Give us a comment. Have we got time, guys? Do you want to go to a couple more questions that people have gotten to us?
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
That's the right answer. We had one here from... There's only a couple to get your gaming questions in. Sandy Young says, first we get twat, now lesbian baby making. Maud, you are so on a roll. Thanks, darling. Sandy also wants to say, I love the team dynamic. Taz keeping Maud in line.
How did this happen? I'm supposed to be the young, impressionable one.
Sorry. Carlo, here we are. Thoughts on the Warlords of Draenor cinematic. Have you guys seen it?
Yep.
What are your thoughts then, Brad?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's like I'm just a colossal nerd. Like I like the lore for World of Warcraft. I'm really looking forward to the film coming out. And my favorite of the books, if you've read them, is Rise of the Horde.
You're right.
So that's kind of a little bit on this one, like the story kind of. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a Horde player. I was always a Horde player. My friends all played Alliance. I played Horde.
All the way through. You've got Horde blood. All right.
Yeah.
I was actually, and this is for Doctor as well, who said, what do you guys think about Warlords of Draenor? Is it worth the money? Also the free level 90 upgrade. Smiley face. I was at the launch for Warlords of Draenor downtown in LA, and they kept doing the, "Oi, Alliance, give us a yell." And I'd be like, "Ooh, yay, Alliance." And then they'd be like, "Oi, Horde, now you yell out." And it'd be like, "Horde!" I was like, oh my god, I'm actually scared. The thing with this, though, is that Warlords of Draenor, it's only catering for Horde players. You know, it's going, yes, deep into the lore of, what's this, I've got a blade for a fist dude. I personally don't really care about that. I played an orc. I played every character up to level 10, and I never stuck with a Horde except for Blood Elf. I don't really care about the orc lore. I don't really care about the brutalities and the gladiator style background of this dude who sawed off his own hand, which was kind of cool in a way, but it's just like, it's nothing that we haven't already seen. I think it's just catering for people that played Horde. What do I think about the free level 90 upgrade? I think it's cheating. I think for all those people that started playing the game 14 years ago or whenever it came out, wait, not 14 years ago, 7, you know, maybe I'm thinking about my dad.
Like 14. Feels like 14.
Feels like 14, you know, all those tens of thousands of dollars ago. My dad's played the game for about 400 days, and he's leveled up so many characters to 90. So then to kind of just explain to him that people can completely bypass that if they pay money, it feels like it's cheating the system, you know?
Yeah. There was a big, like, a revamp with the way World of Warcraft worked, where it became more casual, and they tried to cater for both hardcore players and casual players. Didn't really work, and they lost a lot of people, like a lot of subscribers since 2010. I don't know the number off my head, but
they've still got like 4 million subscribers.
Yeah, but it's only like 50% of the people that just bailed. But
I think they peaked at 11.
Yeah, they do see an incline and at expansions. Like, I will undoubtedly play this expansion for 6 weeks, and then we'll never touch it again.
Right.
That's basically how I did World of Warcraft. just to see what it is, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's come down to it for me too. Like every time they bring out a new one, I'll play for like maybe 2 weeks. I'm not interested in this one though, particularly. I mean, I played Pandas. That was the last. I'm probably not going to get back into it again.
Wasn't Pandas like the one that no one talked about? It's like, oh,
yeah, it was terrible, but
That
there were
mechanic
pandas,
wasn't really bad.
and I could be a monk, so I played it.
a monk panda.
I didn't play a monk panda. I played a monk and a panda. I did 2, so don't even.
So don't even. Have you played monk in Diablo 3?
Yeah, I always play monk.
Most broken class on launch. Oh my god.
We'll have a cry about that one later. Look, this has been Press A to Play. This is where you get your gaming news recap for the week. We also have a topic every single week. So if you've got a suggestion that you would like to put in, hey, let us know. You can either tweet us at GeekBombshells, follow us on Twitter, facebook.com/geekbomb, or you can subscribe. We are so close to 3,000, guys. Come on. Let's band together as a team and click that subscribe button because we are doing this every single weekend, whether it's live or whether it's just uploaded in a fun little video. One last little thing. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll notice that we're actually up for a Blogster award with Pedestrian. This is a pretty big deal. Pedestrian is a big sort of online pop culture magazine that recognizes influential people in blogs or on Twitter, etc. Geek Bomb has been nominated and shortlisted, and we're up against so many beauty and fashion blogs. We are not about fashion and beauty, because if we were, we wouldn't have designed shirts like this for Geek Bomb. This is all about getting
Hey man, those are fashionable, okay? That's like the height
They're
of
8-bit and now beautiful. They are beautiful, damn it. So my kind of campaign here is to just prove that we are in an age where geeks rule. So if you find the link on the Facebook page, all you have to do is click it. There's a little box in the corner that says, hey, click like to vote. Do that. We've actually got a little bit of a head start on everyone else. I want to make sure that we are unstoppable. So let your geek flag fly. Show your support there. Really appreciate that one. Give it a share on your Facebook page as well. It would mean the world to me. This has been Press A to Play, and the bomb
Has been dropped.
That'll be it. Good on you, Brad. Never let me down.